All right, what's happening, people? It's Nick and JHK back for the post-fight podcast. And John, I'm very excited. It's a special edition, shall we say. I always say that every week. It's always special chatting with you. But we've got none other than the man, the boss, the CEO, Chatri Sityodtong will be joining us for an interview in about 10, 15 minutes. I'm excited. I'm wondering, is this the biggest show we've ever done together, maybe since we started doing these One Championship podcasts?
Possibly, right? He's probably the biggest, most well-known figure in the sport that we've had on the podcast. So, yeah, I guess so. And a lot of people are hopping in right now, eager to see what Chatri has to say. So that's great. It's great to see.
Yes, and if you are new and you've never seen us before, welcome. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We are here every week doing this podcast. We have interviews with fighters. We go to all the big events. Yes, you'll like us. I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy our content. I hope you will. But yeah, Chatri will be here soon. We've got lots of other news to discuss as well. Some big things happened last week. We'll also be having another interview at 10 p.m. Singapore time, 10 a.m. Eastern, with our good friend Shannon Wiratchai. He's going to talk about the featherweight MMA interim title fight with Thanh and Ilya Freimanov and give us an update on his situation as well. And we've also got to talk about Haggerty and Rodtang have been moved back a month, November. Some other breaking fight news has happened. Just before I jumped on this show, John, I saw that Rung Rawi is stepping in against Dmitry Menchikov in Singapore. Since McClinmy is out injured. That just happened right now.
Wow.
And yeah, a lot of other stuff to talk about. Superlek, you just told me before we jump on, Superlek's giving an interview to Thai media saying, I'm going to button my shirt up there, sorry, that he might retire if he beats Rodtang, which is crazy. We'll get into all this stuff, but another busy week, right?
Yeah, it's crazy because the rumors were that Rodtang might retire if he wins this fight. Remember, we heard some rumblings about that going around. So what are these guys doing? They're fighting each other and decided to retire. Like whoever wins retires. Is that what's going on?
I don't know. I wonder if it's playing games with people, making you want to tune in more to see it. I don't think you need more of a reason to tune into this fight. It's going to do incredible ratings for One Championship on Channel 7 in Thailand. I think it's going to easily be their highest rated show since they started One Friday Fights, One Lumpini in January. You got to imagine, John, it's going to pop a monster rating, and a very large part of Thailand will be tuning in to watch it.
Oh, without a doubt, man. It's nothing new for them because I believe One Lumpini shows they're like stuck in the number one spot in Thailand, right? They get the highest TV ratings anyways. So, getting more of that is phenomenal. We talked about this, I think, a few podcasts ago about how they should have took advantage of this event, right? And put this fight in a bigger arena. Like what was it, the Impact Arena? That's not far from Lumpini, actually.
It's not, no. I was banging the drum about that. Yes, about Impact Arena. It's not far at all. Maybe we can ask him if we get time. We've only got about half an hour, I think, with Chatri, so we'll see how it goes. We'll try and fit it all in. There's so much I want to ask him always. But every time I chat to him, I think we go like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. He's very generous with his time. There's always plenty of things to talk about. So we'll see what we can do. But yes, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'll try and ask him a few from the chat as well. Just try not to be a troll and ask silly things because I won't ask them.
Don't be an idiot. Let's just put it out there. Don't be an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Keep it respectful.
Good advice,
you know what I mean?
For life. Keep it respectful, yes, please. But anyway, I've got a lot of people already putting questions in there.
Yeah,
so
a lot of good stuff. A lot of good
stuff, some bad stuff as well. But
yes,
feel free to put it in there. I just won't ask it. But anyway, yes, Chatri will be in about 8 minutes, I think. So good to see everyone. Yeah, I see WMMA scene now. See all the regulars here. Good to see you all again, Tristan. Yes, Tristan Rungrawi versus Menchikov is booked, baby. Exactly. Just got broken news on Instagram, I think. Thai One Championship Thailand just confirmed it. And yeah, Tristan will be heading to Singapore with Rung Rawi, it looks like. So hopefully see you there, Tristan. I still haven't got confirmation yet. Time's running out, though, which is a bit weird. But anyway, it's going to be a good show, John. I'm feeling pumped up for it. Yeah. And our favorite troll, Kent, is back with a
nice.
horrendous comment. Yeah. There we
Kent,
go.
one thing about Kent is he will come consistently with the horrendous comment. So at least he's consistent, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what they say. To become better at something, you just need to be consistent. And Kent is becoming a master.
That is it. Okay. Right. Yeah, we'll be here for another hour and a half or so, something like that. If you are new to the channel, like I said, please subscribe. It always helps us out. Hit the like button, get notifications, hit that bell. You'll never miss a show. You'll never miss an interview we do. And like I said, we'll be on the ground next week for this huge event. Friday Fights 34, Rodtang versus Superlek. They dropped the whole card, didn't they, as well, John? I think it was this week or the end of last week. Yes, some good fights. Have you seen the rest of the card yet? Should I bring it up quickly?
The which one? The
for Rodtang Superlek. Yeah, Friday Fights 34.
Oh yeah. It's man, I was surprised to see some fights on there. Some MMA fights.
Yeah, a few people have been saying, why is there MMA on this?
No.
But, you're always going to get some MMA on. There it is. Yeah, Rodtang and Superlek, Muay Thai, Yodlek Pet. Seksan is back, of course, against Amir Nasiri. Kulab Dam, Tyson Harrison. Prajan Shai, Akram Hamidi, but it's not a title defense. It's a kickboxing fight. Sibmoon against Miguel Trindade. Yeah, I think it's a pretty fun card. There's some MMA that people are not happy with. Chen Rui against
your boy Shin is back. That's going to be a banger.
Yes, it will be. The Ghost. We always love a bit of Chen Rui here. And Lito Adiwang and Adrian Matthijs. I like these guys as well. I think that's going to be a fun fight. Man. They are good matchups. I don't know why people are complaining, but you just can never please anyone.
Well, the Muay Thai purists or the kickboxing purists probably don't like it.
Yeah, it's all right, guys. It's the first two fights on the card. You don't have to watch it. You can tune in.
It's the warm up. Like you could come late if you're just into the Muay Thai, right?
I agree with that. Josephine saying Rodtang and Superlek is going to be a legendary fight. So happy to be able to witness this in person. It's sold out, Josephine. So lucky you got a ticket. I think there's going to be a lot of people trying to get in, John.
Yeah. There's going to be people very, very disappointed on the morning, or well, at least this is at night. You know what I mean? Not at the morning.
Yes. But I remember the last Friday Fight show, the big tent pole, whatever they call it, quarterly one we went to. Anatoly was on. There were people lining up around the block, couldn't get in. Right? I think it was over capacity by a couple hundred people. Atmosphere was insane. This one is going to blow that out of the water, I think. Right.
Yeah, I think that it will blow it out the water because there's like, look at Seksan as the co-main event. No, he's not even the co-main event. He's like the third fight. But Seksan against Amir Nasiri, that's a good matchup right there, man. I didn't expect Nasiri to be fighting Seksan, but looks like they're trying to build Seksan up, man.
Well, that could be the case, but look, we've got our guest here. We're going to bring him in. All right, it's time. Chatri, good to see you. We're going to put you on the big screen.
What's up, John? How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, very good. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. It's always fun to chat to you. Some legendary conversations we've had over the last few years.
Definitely. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
No, I was just thinking, wow, it's incredible we never actually got you on, or I'd never even asked you to do it. I think I was worried you wouldn't want to do it, and then you were more than happy to do it. So thank you very much.
Of course, anything for Nick, man.
Appreciate it. Well, there's a lot of questions we have, and some fans here in the chat have questions.
Sure, fire away.
Yeah, I think we're going to start with this huge show we were just talking about next week. One Friday Fights 34, Rodtang against Superlek. It's going to be an incredible, insane night. I know you're super pumped for it. The full card's been released. Just how much are you looking forward to this?
First of all, Rodtang versus Superlek is the biggest fight in 50 years in Muay Thai. You ask anybody in Thailand, the entire country is riveted. On my social media, on the news feed, it's literally Rodtang Superlek, Rodtang Superlek. I mean, the media, social media, just people talking about nonstop. Because it's really hard to get to the very best of their era, together and actually compete, and it's for high stakes, obviously, to see who's the best pound for pound Muay Thai striker in the world. And so the whole world is abuzz right now, the whole Muay Thai community around the world. I was just talking with Liam Harrison about it, and then I was talking to Haggerty about it. Like, these guys, they're actually in Thailand. They're coming in Thailand for this fight, sitting first row VVIP, just because they want to be part of history. But I don't think maybe the rest of the world outside of the Muay Thai community understands this card is literally the greatest card assembled in the history of Muay Thai. Full stop. You ask anybody in Thailand, never before have we had main event fights, every single fight down the card, right? Almost every fight is a world champion, former world champion versus a current world champion, a former world champion. And the matchmakers, did an incredible job. Every single person on this card comes to bang. They are looking for the KO. They're not looking for some really pretty decision win. Look at it. It's killers and monsters on that card. So in Thailand, everyone is just pumped. The Muay Thai community around the world, nobody is going to miss this, and everyone's going to be, at home or with their buddies, edge of the seat of the couches around the world. So it's bar none, it will be the most watched Muay Thai event in the history of Muay Thai.
Well, just before we jumped on this show as well, John was telling me he'd seen Superlek giving an interview where he says if he beats Rodtang, he might retire. He's achieved everything. And he was also saying, he prefers teaching seminars and stuff. And, the match, he says he's not really excited for the match, I think, because they're quite close friends. Have you heard him say this to you as well? Or do you think he's just...
So what he did say was he would consider doing MMA because MMA would be a brand new sport for him. He considers the one championship belt the pinnacle of Muay Thai, and then he'll have achieved it all. But he still wants to make a boatload of money. There's no way he's retiring. He's only 27 years old. He's a killer, in great shape, injury-free. There's no way, he will call it a day. I think he's going to try to go for an MMA world title, or at least defend his Muay Thai world title, and break records. That's what I think Superlek wants to do. But, it's kind of interesting because before the fight was made, everyone around the world said Rodtang's scared and the fight was never going to happen. I know behind the scenes, I talk to these guys all the time. Rodtang is not scared of anybody. You have to understand, this guy is on a tear. He's on a high in his career, hasn't been beaten in many years. When you have that kind of confidence, you're unbreakable. And it's interesting because, you talk to Muay Thai experts around the world, even in Thailand, people think Superlek is going to win. But I don't know, man. Like, the more I think about it, I think Rodtang is he's been training very hard. He's legendary for not training at all. I think he trained, it's kind of embarrassing. He trained 2 days for the Edgar Tabarez fight in Denver, right? Literally had a 2-day camp. And his wife outed him on that one. And it was kind of funny because I had no idea he trained 2 days. That's a level of talent that he has and power that he doesn't have to take it seriously. But of course, that's a downfall of every great fighter, right? When you saw Mike Tyson in his heyday, when he was coming up, he was disciplined, customado, training like a madman. And towards the end of his career, when he lost to Buster Douglas, he started having problems at home and girl problems, and then didn't train and lost his trainer, and then eventually got knocked out by Buster Douglas. So it happens to the best of them. But you see, Rodtang is very motivated. He's training very hard every day. You see the clips he posts, but that's only a fraction of what he's doing. So from my understanding, from both camps, from both their teams on the ground, Superlek and Rodtang are in unbelievable shape, ready to go even tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because some people seem to be saying Rodtang's not taking it seriously, and I think he went to a water park last week, a couple weeks ago, with his family, and people were saying he shouldn't be doing this. Where do you stand on that? Does it when you look on the outside, do you think these people should be allowed to live their lives? We maybe take it too seriously.
I think it's human nature. You see, when you have nothing, you are willing to train all day, all night. When you have everything, it really takes a special, extraordinary athlete to say, I want to train even harder. I want to be the very, very best in history, right? And so I think it's widely known that Rodtang doesn't train very hard. Ever since he won the world title he hasn't been, razor sharp. He hasn't trained every day. He's, again, when you have a 2-day training camp, that's pretty insane to me. That was shocking to me, actually. Where Superlek is known to be very disciplined, or Nong-O is very, very disciplined. They train, day in, day out, whether they have a fight or not. And so, to each his own. At the end of the day, Rodtang is fighting for his family. Superlek's fighting for his family, and their obvious respective teams, and for the right to be called the best in the world, pound for pound. And they have to. By now, both are so experienced. They've each fought, I want to say, 300 fights each around there. I think Rodtang's up to 400, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe Superlek's at 250 or something. But these are killers who've been fighting all their life. They know their bodies by now. They know how to peak. They know what level of training is required, and they also know how to relax and stay calm and level-headed, right? I mean, a lot of times if you're in camp and you're training very hard and you're very obsessed, singular-minded, and not thinking about anything else, you can almost like mentally mess with yourself before you actually step into the ring. So I think that is Rodtang's way of letting the steam off.
A lot of people saying you guys were hesitant to book this fight as well. And, we had it booked in March and then it fell through. Rodtang got injured. And then it's only been rebooked now for September. Were you hesitant to do this? Did you not want to put these two together yet? What was the reason you didn't go back to it so quickly?
The thing, the way it works, at least in one championship, is the matchmakers literally are meeting every day, coming up with fights, cards, multiple cards. They're working on 4 or 5 cards out for our bigger cards, for our Amazon cards, and then they work on the weekly cards. They're also out 4 or 5 cards. So there's constant barrage of this fight, that fight, this idea, that, and sometimes, believe it or not, big fights get lost in the shuffle. I don't think it was anything intentional. No one said, of course, fans online were saying, hey man, they're intentionally doing this. No, we were trying to make it happen as quickly as possible. It's just, one thing led to another, and there's other fights, and there's, we have an entire roster full of the very best fighters on the planet, and they need to be fed. So, when Rodtang pulled out of the first Superlek, we moved on. You move on very quickly. You don't just sit there and say you want to make it. Of course, any given moment in time, we know, the top big fights that the fans want to see, that we want to see at any given point in time, but it doesn't mean you can make it happen right now, just because there's a multitude of factors. There's, of course, what's happening with one champion. There's what's happening with athlete, personal lives, professional lives, on both sides. And some fighters just honestly decline. I mean, they decline and they talk a big game, on social media, as if one champion's not giving them opportunities or whatever. But behind closed doors, we know, I'm not going to badmouth any of it. I just tell you that there are some people who turn down fights and then talk on social media as if they're not getting fights.
Were you seeing that reaction Rodtang got in Denver and thinking, oh, actually, maybe we should not risk him losing that belt, in a really high stakes match with Superlek. We'd like to keep him with a championship for when we come back to America. Did that factor into your consideration at all?
No, I think there's always big fights and big stories to be made. I mean, the Edgar Tabarez situation was, he's a WBC world champ, and he it was Cinco de Mayo, so there, that we wanted to play on that theme. And so if Rodtang was a champion, he would get the opportunity. If it was Superlek, at Superlek I could actually flown in. we had Super Leg fly in case Rotang missed weight, right? And so, the thing is, I was just looking at the social media stats of our athletes. When Rotang joined One, he had 14,000 followers total. And now he has 3.6 million followers right across his social media platform. Stamp, when she joined, she had 2,000 followers, and now she has 1.8 million or something like that. The reality is, our platform has gotten so big that the minute a star shines, he or she becomes, a rising global superstar. And of course, if he or she wins a belt, they become a full-blown superstar. I think we saw that, whatever country Rotang goes, he gets mobbed. It's crazy at the airport, in customs, immigration, in restaurants, when they do these seminars in America or whatever country they're at, in the UK. Our superstars are bona fide global superstars, and it's not just these guys. I mean, we have so many athletes now that are in the 2, 3, 4, 5 million followers on social media. And I think that's literally just happened in the last, call it 4 or 5 years, when we see the explosion of followers for our athletes. Obviously, seeing this explosion of our social media followers on One Championship, but it's awesome to see now that all these athletes are getting the attention they deserve, the credit that's due, and of course making insane money, right? I mean, the money they're making, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to One Friday Fights, but one night we pay more than their entire careers, and these are world champion strikers, the very best on the planet. And so we're really changing the game, and that makes me happy. That really makes me happy when I see, coming from Thailand, coming from the Muay Thai community. The thing that irked me growing up was how, these were the best strikers on the planet. Any martial arts, any stand-up, these are the best strikers on the planet. And when they retire, they end up becoming, tuk-tuk drivers. They started poor, out of Isan or Buriram, and they end up poor after their careers because they are often cheated by promoters or gym owners or girlfriends or whatever it is, right? And it's kind of crazy. You'd go to a big fight night in Lumpini when I was a kid, and you'd have the main event, and there'd be an unbelievable fight, and he'd walk out, and literally no one would ask for his autograph or photo or anything. Like, just, there was no sense of hero building or storytelling or even, proper compensation. So I think that's something I'm very happy for. So I think Rotang has truly become a superstar. He walks in Japan, they're gonna go crazy for him. I have to admit, I was very surprised. I think the right word was shocked when we went to Denver, and Rotang had a bigger ovation for the entire crowd than DJ did or any of the American stars we had, right? And Rotang doesn't even speak English, so it's just, the world is more connected than ever before. The digital economy, social media, everything. You can not speak a language, but you can understand the art of fighting. You, as a fan or as a fighter, that these are the very best on the planet, and you have the appreciation for it.
Yeah, I think Rotang undoubtedly the biggest star in One right now, and I'm going to ask you one more question about him, and then I'll throw it to John because there's lots of other topics we wanted to ask you about. But Rotang, yeah, win or lose this fight, I think there's still big fights out there and stories like you mentioned, and one of them, someone keeps asking in the chat repeatedly, Damien, to ask you about Takeru. So yeah, is Rotang Takeru in Japan still on your mind? I think, I asked you about it in Denver after that event, and you seem to be up for it.
Yeah, we definitely want to do Rotang Takeru, but these big fights, just like Rotang and Super Leg, they take a lot of coordination because there's a lot of parties involved, believe it or not, to try to make it happen, right? So we'll see. I'm optimistic, but I don't want to announce anything until everything is signed and done.
And do you have any plans for Takeru, like before Rotang? Is he going to get a warm-up fight, something like that?
If we can't make Takeru versus Rotang, then yeah, we would slot him quite quickly. Against one of the many great strikers we have on the roster. Yeah, he's ready to go. He's itching.
Yeah, would it be in Japan, or would you be able to bring him to Thailand or Singapore?
I think it would be Japan. That's that's our gut right now. We'd love to do it in Tokyo. Takeru is the biggest combat sports star. After Tenshin went to boxing, Takeru has become the face of combat sports, whereas Tenshin is the face of boxing now in Japan, right? Or Inoue is. And Tenshin is a rising star in boxing, but the face of martial arts, Kakutogi in Japan is Takeru right now.
Okay, well, John, sorry, I've hogged the mic for a while. Sorry to you.
No, Chatri, I've been in Thailand for the last month, going around the gyms, talking with people, and the growth of One Championship is very, very apparent. The interest is very high. People are asking me for tickets for Raw Tank, Super Lek. I'm like, how am I going to get you tickets? It's sold out. Is there, for the fans, is there a way for them to get tickets?
No,
if it's sold
out,
impossible.
It's completely sold out. I almost couldn't get Liam Harrison tickets. Okay, so I had to pull a lot of strings. It's obviously Liam the Hitman, and I don't want to be a victim of the Hitman, so I had to get him tickets.
No doubt. So what's the next step for the promotion? You guys are doing all the shows in Lumpini. Could we see arena shows? Could we see big stadium shows? You're putting on the biggest fights: Raw Tank, Super Lek, Taiwan Chai, Super Bond.
No, for sure. We're gonna go back to old format. I think this year was much more about, the Thai government really invited me back. Not back, inviting me to be a promoter of Lumpini and to restore the honor and glory of Muay Thai, to spread all over the world. And funny story that they've been the Royal Thai Army was researching One Champ for 3 years before they approached me to invite me to take over Lumpini Stadium. And obviously it's the mecca of Muay Thai. And at one point during COVID, they were considering shutting it down forever. And obviously that's an iconic stadium. It is the #1 stadium in Thailand for 50 years. And where all the best fighters come. And so I felt a real moral duty. And I thought, look, if I come back, I could do a normal thing, which would be like, the Friday fights, which are phenomenal anyways. But I wanted to really bring, the honor and glory. I wanted to bring back the popularity of Muay Thai, not just in Thailand, but around the world. I wanted to, showcase of the beauty of my country. So there was, a lot of things like that going on behind the scenes. And of course, we had tremendous support from, the Thai fans, the Thai government, the Thai military, the Thai ecosystem. For the last 10 years, I don't know if you guys know, the last 10 years, Muay Thai was dying because of all the gambling problems. There's nothing wrong with gambling. But if the gamblers are paying off the fighters or the judges or the referees, then it becomes a problem. And so every week, the last several years, there'd be a social media scandal of how this fighter was robbed or that fighter was robbed or this scandal or that scandal. And quite frankly, the viewership just kept on dropping for 10 years. And if One Championship didn't step in, I predict within 5 years, Muay Thai would be gone completely from Thailand. And that would have been a shame. It's obviously a national heritage. It's obviously the greatest cultural treasure of Thailand. And then, for me, I've been doing Muay Thai since I was 13 years old, a kid, and very strong roots and strong love, for Muay Thai. So I just felt, a big need. So that's why you're seeing a lot of the Lumpini events. But next year, actually even starting this year, in September, where we're kicking off with our September event. Then we have a big event in the Middle East in Q4, and then followed up very quickly with Japan. I think that stadium, I can't remember. I think it's a 20,000 seater, maybe 30,000 seater. We haven't announced obviously the dates or stuff like that, but we have a lot of very fun plans in the works. I haven't announced the U.S. events as well. We're going to go some major cities and major stadiums. Denver was incredible, and we went to a small stadium because we weren't sure. Or actually, rather, my team was sure. I was unsure. My team was saying we should put a 20,000 seater, and I said, "Hey, man, it's our first show in the U.S. I don't know if we even have a U.S. fan base." And we sold out within a few weeks, and that was very shocking to me. So yeah, I mean, it's the way I think about this journey the last 12 years. There's always a chapter. It's a book, and it's an ongoing book. So this year's a chapter of record hot level of events every Friday. And I felt a duty to bring back and restore Muay Thai. But, we're the whole martial arts, so we're always showcasing mixed martial arts, grappling or kickboxing or Muay Thai. This year maybe was a little bit Muay Thai heavy, but I don't think fans missed the beat, man. I think they're going crazy for One Friday Fights. I don't know if John and Nick, if you guys have been watching One Friday Fights, the action is insane. Insane. The KO rate is like 70%. It's like insane. Some of the fights are just electric.
Yeah, there's a lot of people online. They love the Friday fights. You mentioned Qatar, the U.S. as locations, future locations. What about Korea? Sexyama, he's out there. He needs a fight, right? He could headline.
So my team is working on Korea. It's one step at a time, and we're working in multiple countries at any given point in time. So I can tell you Korea is one of them. But it takes, when you're working in multiple countries, you don't know which one is going to close first. And then, you always want a big lead time. We want at least a 6-month lead time to make sure we execute well, especially if it's a new country. And so we're always juggling multiple countries in Europe. I haven't announced anything in Europe. We have multiple countries that we're talking to, multiple states in America, new Asian countries we're working on. And of course, then we have our regular circuit of events. So it's a never-ending process. But next year, I think it's gonna. Knock on wood, everything goes well. But I think next year will. If you think this year was a big year for one, with 60 events, I think we were the number one number of events for between us and UFC this year. And next year we have even more events.
How many events do you think you'll have in 2024?
A lot more than 60. That's what's baked in the plans. But again, let's see what happens. There's a lot of moving parts. I try my best not to announce. Maybe sometimes I'll occasionally put my foot in my mouth when Nick asks me a question off guard and I answer. But I try not to announce unless it's 100% done.
Back to you, Nick, man. I'm looking forward to Korea. Hopefully it happens next year.
Oh, that's right, John. You're Korean, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, got it. That makes sense now.
Yes.
He had to get it in.
Well, if if Ham wins, then we have Sexyam and Ham. Maybe there's a big reason,
There you go. Perfect. Oak is out there too, right? Former champ.
Yeah, Oak's fighting. He's fighting soon as well. I just saw his name on one of the matchmakers' cards.
Nice.
All right. Well, I think I know the answer to this, and I have to put it on because it's a super chat. But yeah, I actually don't have an update on Anissa Mekson, right?
Who, me?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Look, the way I think about our athlete ecosystem, our athlete roster is we have great relations with 95% of our athletes. 5% of athletes, it's like any girlfriend or boyfriend where sometimes you have good days, bad days, and ugly days. Actually, the entire roster, you have good days, bad days, and ugly days. But we try our best, and no one's perfect, and I'm sure that our team is working very hard to try to resolve everything with Anissa. I think we had issues in the past with multiple athletes, and my team has been able to resolve them amicably, and so everyone gets back into the fold. These things happen. It's just part of the business. Just like, you have a problem. No one has a perfect life, right? When you wake up in the morning, you think, okay, today's gonna be the perfect day, but no, a million things happen. It's the same thing with the roster. You have to remember, these are several hundred of the very, very best championship fighters on the planet. They're hungry. They're born to fight. They want to fight. They want this. They want that. And it may or may not happen on their time frame versus our time frame. And sometimes, athletes get more fights than they expected, right? Depending on how hot they are, we will then use them very, very quickly, right? We will build their star power because they did a great job launching their careers and won, and we just keep the excitement going. And sometimes things don't work out. So I wish my team and Anissa work everything out. I'm hopeful. I'd love to see Anissa come back into the fold. I think the atomweight division, whether it's kickboxing or Muay Thai, I think Anissa knows it's the best division in the world, especially when you have a killer like Petchicha who just joined the ranks. She's the only person I think that has a better record than Anissa. She has like 200 plus wins with I think 5 losses, and those losses were against boys, right? I mean, she I think a third of her fights coming up the ranks for Pechicha were against boys and men.
Yeah, and she could also fight, Alicia Rodriguez, who's going to be on this.
Yeah, there's a lot of great fights. There's a lot of great fights. Still, amazing fights. Crossover
fingers
fights.
Crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see her back if you can work it out. Yeah. But this Singapore card's going to be insane as well. We've already talked about next week Friday fights, but yeah, One Fight Night 14. You're back in Singapore, big stadium show again. How much have you missed it? It's been, I think, March. Yeah, I was there in March. It's been a while since we've been back in the home city of One.
Well, actually, the home city now is Bangkok.
Bangkok.
and actually, I think Bangkok is a lot more fun, to be honest. Bangkok is the fight capital of Asia, if you think about it, right? It has the fun fights every single day of the week. Any stadium you can pick across the country. It has incredible cheap food. It has got a great party town. It has, anything under the sun and under the moon that you want to do. And then the rest of the country, the beaches, the islands, the mountains. So in many ways, Thailand is the perfect, if you had to name the top 3 or 5 fight countries in the entire world, Brazil would be one, Thailand would be another. There's a handful of countries. So I see One Friday fights happening, for a long time out of Lumpini. Again, but we're adding fights, and this year was the chapter of, reviving Muay Thai, introducing Muay Thai to the world, on the global stage at a high frequency with the world's very best Muay Thai strikers on the planet, and then the next chapter is getting back to our roots. You'll see very quickly when we make some announcements between Qatar and Japan and a few other big stadium shows, and the U.S. shows coming up, a big stadium now. I think it's good to have a high frequency show like a One Friday Fights that keeps the fans engaged with the athletes, the stories, the achievements, with our brand, with our production value, the whole thing, the whole ecosystem. And I'm sure for you, Nick and John, having that content every week, having something to talk about, having something to write about it, it's a lot easier than having a big stadium event once a month or whatever, or twice a month. Having that every Friday, so at the minimum you have 2 Friday fights, and then after that you have the Amazon One Fight Night shows, and then you get the numbered events back, and then we get the full calendar, right? And then that's just in one region, and now we're talking about the U.S. and Europe as one expands around the world.
You're gonna move that swanky office, Singapore, over to Bangkok, or what?
No, I think the global headquarters will always be here in Singapore, but we do obviously have a very large team in Thailand now, with our Thailand, the One Championship Thailand staff.
Well, speaking of Singapore, I got to ask you about Angela Lee. I saw she's going to do a seminar, Evolve, I think, after the show, and I know you said before that she's going to come make a big statement. Any update you can give us from her, or which way she's leaning to, whether she's going to retire or continue fighting?
I'll let Angela answer that. Of course, I do know the answer to everything. Angela is going to break some news on ESPN, I think this week, if I'm not mistaken. And then she's going to make a major announcement during fight week of the Singapore event, and then she's going to make another big announcement during the fight night itself, during the event.
Okay, lots of announcements from Angela. Can't wait to see what she has to say. John, do you want to ask another question? I got a few more here. If Chatri's got time, I know we've had you already.
Fire away, man.
I appreciate it.
I gotta ask you about
we talk a lot at the events, Nick, but we never get a chance to talk like this. So I'm game.
Appreciate it.
Well, something outside of One Championship, but I think it affects the sport, is the sale of Bellator. What are your thoughts on that and the rumors that are flying around?
First of all, I have a lot of respect for Scott Coker and what he's built. I think that, again, when you look at just pure metrics, pure verifiable numbers. I know there's a lot of rhetoric by different organizations saying they're this big or that big, but as a fan, I'd encourage everybody here, just go to Facebook, see how many followers UFC has, how many followers does One Championship have, how many followers does Bellator have, right? And you get a sense for the different scale. And then you download the Nielsen report off Nielsen.com and see the scale of viewership on TV, et cetera. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that the two big 800-pound gorillas globally for both, viewership numbers, actually every metric you want to count, viewership, revenues, roster size, organic video views online, social media followers, et cetera, right? It's the two 800-pound gorillas are UFC and one. UFC being the largest player out of the Western Hemisphere, and we're the largest player out of the Eastern Hemisphere. And this is the first year that we've surpassed the UFC in terms of number of events. And I think it's just going to continue because we have a very aggressive team and a very aggressive vision for what we believe is the way to do combat sports. And it's not an accident, I think, that UFC and one are 180 degrees opposite from each other in terms of their DNA, their ethos, their brand values, and the like. Right? It's just very, very different. Starting from the very top, we're just very, very different people, and I think that's something that fans can enjoy both properties. And the world's big enough. There's 8 billion people. So what I would say is, I spend a fair amount of my time. Actually, all of my time, obviously, on building one, but some of my time, a fair amount of when I do focus on outside what's happening, I focus most of my attention on what's happening with the UFC. My corporate development team gives me the scoop, and I don't really pay attention to the small competitors.
All right, fair enough. Thanh Le, Ilya Freimanov, they're going to be fighting for the interim featherweight title. We spoke with Martin Nguyen a few weeks back. He was pushing for the title shot. I believe he's in Florida in camp. What's next for him? Could we see him against Gary Tonin?
Yeah, for sure. I think I may have my wires crossed here. So, but I think Gary was offered a fight right after his fight with Shamil Gasanov to make a quick return, and he declined it and wanted a little bit more time to rest and then have a proper training camp. And so we did want to do Martin Nguyen versus Gary Tonin. And I think the winner of that goes on for a title shot. That was our original plan. And then, of course, Thanh Kai's knee just recovered. And, we were actually waiting for him and, waiting for all this stuff. And in the end, we're like, look, Ilya was massively impressive, has been massively impressive in his fights in one and the way he dominated Martin. And Thanh is obviously a former champ. So we thought, hey, that's an interesting storyline. And the winner of that takes on, Thanh Kai when he's ready to go.
What do you think of that matchup, Freimanov versus Le? Lee's somewhat old, considering he's a fighter, and Freimanov, he just seems like he's on fire. That last performance, he came back, right? He broke his orbital, I believe, in like 2 spots or something. Insane.
Yeah. No. What I find with both of these guys, they are elite MMA strikers, and they're very unorthodox. They've got a lot of flashy kicks and spinning punches and a lot of weird stuff that keep you on your toes. And so I think the fans are going to see a very fun and entertaining striking war that ends with a KO, just because they're so unorthodox, and they both, they both go for the finish. They're not going to just try to outpoint each other. They're really aggressive and they hit very hard. And so I think one of them is going to get clipped and it's going to end early. I just have this feeling it's going to end in 1 or 2 rounds.
Nice. Back to you, Nick, man.
Well, yeah, that fight was added to October after you moved Haggerty and Andrade to November. What was the reason, behind that move? Was I think both of those guys are blaming each other, as always happens. But yeah, was it logistical or injury?
Fights get moved around for all sorts of reasons. I'll leave this one behind closed doors, but there is bad blood between the two guys. That's what I'll say.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know,
Yeah, there's real
they
bad
seem
blood.
to
There
both
is
be.
real bad blood between the two of them, and yeah.
Well, you said I think Haggerty's going to be there next week. Is Fabricio there, and you're going to have to stick Anatoly between them or something?
Well, I did tell my team. I said, please be mindful of whichever athletes are coming, because I didn't get the list. I said, just make sure the guys who hate each other, they're not sitting close to each other. So Haggerty and Liam are not sitting next to each other, because the one day they're going to fight, and they there's a little bit of bad blood and disrespect going on between the two. So, and they're obviously two of UK's finest, and they will fight one day, and hopefully they will fight in Wembley in the UK. That's my dream.
Yeah, you mentioned Liam as well. He's going to be there, and have you got anything? I think he told us he wants to be back in October, and he has something lined up. Is that
no? So
official now?
Liam Harrison just updated my team a couple days ago that he just saw the doctor, and the doctor's not clearing him until November, that he's allowed to go full on training camp. So he will not be ready by, unfortunately, January. We'd actually offered him a fight for November. He couldn't accept it. We offered him for October. The doctor didn't clear. November, the doctor didn't clear. And the final update is the doctor said Liam can only be ready for a fight in January.
Okay, and I'm getting spammed in the chat by some people. They like really want to know the answer to some questions, so I got to fire out a couple to you.
Nothing's off. If I can answer the question, I will.
All right. Well, yeah, I think a lot of people are wondering where Panpayak is, and I know that he said he's out of the rankings now. And Prem and Ply, I think, did a media scrum and said that he turned down a fight with Nabil. Did you have any more info, or did he turn down?
This is again what just blows my mind. You know, it's like when a fighter comes out and says, "Oh, you haven't given me fights," everyone believes him right away. Meanwhile, Panpayak has been offered multiple times. Okay, and there's no reason for me to make him look bad or anyone look bad. Okay, he's been offered Nabil. He turned down Nabil at least 3 times. This is I tell you this, and they're trying to make it again. Okay, so I don't know what the latest is, and a few others. Like I don't want to get into it, but the only reason I'm raising this one is obviously Panpayak he's a phenomenal fighter. We definitely want to see him in action, but to say that he hasn't been offered fights or to say that he has been neglected, I mean, this is just the part of the business that I don't like. You know, fighters using social media to garner sympathy or love from the fans, when in reality we have email trails and WhatsApp trails, and if we want to make him look really bad, we could do it in 2 seconds. But what's the point? I'll just tell you that I will tell you this year he's been offered multiple fights. And Nabil, by the way, before Superlek destroyed him, Nabil was the one opponent that nobody wanted to fight in all of Thailand. You can ask, I mean, John, you're living there right now, ask anybody. Nobody before Superlek, nobody wanted to fight Nabil because he's 6 foot tall for a flyweight. And so I understand people turning him down. I understand it because before Superlek, it was impossible to find Nabil an opponent. It was impossible. And I know because Timo Ruge, one of our head matchmaker and actually the head matchmaker for One Friday Fights, he's like, Chatri's impossible. Like everyone turns down Nabil, right? Everyone, and that's then we got into that issue with Panpayak. But I like Panpayak. I think he's a super fighter, but it's not fair. It's not right to my team that fighters come out and say they're not being offered fight. It's just not. I don't understand it. I don't understand why would a fighter do that. Maybe they just feel the need to get attention. I don't know. I just don't know, because obviously it makes my team upset. Like, why would you? If we really wanted to make someone look bad, we just release the emails and messages, which we won't. There's no point. I will just leave it at that. We have offered Panpayak fights multiple times this year. 100% fact, verifiable by emails, messages, and whatnot. I didn't, and I was not personally involved. When I asked what's happening, they showed me.
Okay, and another one people are asking about is, I think I can combine a couple. They want to know if Anatoly is going to fight Amir Ali Akbari, or if it's going to be Rug. And yeah, do you have any update on the heavyweight title picture?
So Anatoly has been begging, and this is again another one of these funny things. Anatoly's been begging to fight Renier de Ridder at middleweight. Renier has declined that fight. This was, I don't know. I wasn't involved in this. The matchmaking with the team was.
And Renier's booked now, right? I think.
I think when Anatoly beat Arjan Bular, I think he called out RDR. I think I can't remember. Maybe my mind's fuzzy. And then at that point, I think my team had offered it to RDR, and RDR declined. So these things again. Big fights take time, take the right kind of magic to work, and all sides have to be aligned. But I think the next big interesting fight is going to be RDR versus Anatoly 2 at middleweight.
Okay. I got another super chat, so I feel I got to ask it because they paid $5. So your Kim.
Oh, they paid $5. How come I'm not getting any revenue?
Yeah. Sorry, I should send that money to you. But Chuck.
So John and Nick are getting rich, and here I am, just another mouthpiece.
It's going straight to SCMP's coffers, I think. But I don't see any of it. But Soo Kim, I was wondering this as well. She fought a few times for ONE, and now she's gone to UFC. Did ONE pass on signing her, or you? What happened there? I know she was quite highly rated.
I would just say that she's a ONE fighter. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go, Chuck. Got your answer. I'm just checking what other people are asking me. A lot of people are saying the same thing, so I just need to. Akimoto, anything update on him? I know that he was the former champ, lost to Pettenong. He's not in. They have the super fight now. Haggerty Andrade. Is Akimoto going to have a contender fight? Maybe.
Yeah, I think Akimoto is definitely in the mix for sure. I haven't talked to my team about Hiroki. This whole Petchnong thing obviously threw everything for a loop. And then, I do want to clarify to all fans that we do believe in rankings, and we do, for the most part, follow the rankings. But we do love the creative aspects of super fights across sports, across divisions, whatever it is, because a little bit of unpredictability for us is exciting for fans, exciting for athletes. And, we're the only promotion in the world that you can actually hop between sports and test your mettle, right? I mean, Fabricio Andrade wants to go down as the greatest combat sports athlete in history by winning world titles in all the three sports, right? Same thing for Roberto Soldic. So, this is, I think, adds another layer of fun and excitement storytelling for fans all over the world. So we will follow the rankings for the most part, but when the occasional kind of like, wild, a curveball out of left field happens with the whole Petchnong situation, then we're like, okay, what do we do? Do we just get number 1, number 2, which would be the standard thing, or do we just think that? And I asked the matchmakers to think of something creative and fun, and they said, how about current MMA champ versus current Muay Thai champ under kickboxing rules? I thought, wow, that's pretty intriguing. And then when I looked at the names, I'm like, man, I think people want to watch Haggerty versus Fabricio. And the funny thing is, it's crazy. People are like, Haggerty's going to destroy Fabricio. Fabricio has no right being in there. People don't realize Fabricio is a badass at kickboxing. That was his first sport. I think he has like a 95% win rate or something like that in kickboxing. He has like, I think 50, 60 fights in kickboxing. Fabricio's a legit badass, man. A championship level striker. Yes, he's a world champion in MMA, but striking is his first love.
And sorry, there's so many comments. I'm trying to just see, but I think a lot of people were asking about the welterweight division, and Murad Ramazanov seems to be in limbo. And did you have any update on that title picture, welterweight interim or something?
I think those are all very fair questions. So, it's also why the atomweight division this year hasn't been very active, right, until now. And there's no protocol for this. Obviously what the Lee family went through last December, we tried our best to be compassionate and thoughtful, and not just be a typical fight promotion. You're going to get stripped, or when the division moves on, which would have been the typical, response. And of course, that idea did come to me and to other people, but I didn't feel right. You go through a tragedy like that, and I want to make sure. So I have had multiple conversations with Angela. I've had many conversations with Angela. I've had a few conversations with Christian. I've had a few conversations with Ken and Jules. And I don't know. Maybe it's bad. We slowed down the atomweight female division and the welterweight and lightweight divisions, and out of respect and courtesy and compassion, right? But I think you will see that pick back up, starting with Angela's this month with Angela. You're going to start to see a big pickup back, and things are going to be returned to normal for the atomweight female division and for the men's lightweight and men's welterweight division. We've actually a lot of fights now going to be booked for the big Middle East event we have in Q4. So all these amazing athletes are I know they're all ready to go, and I think we will have interim title fights for the welterweight division and for the lightweight division. Christian I did ask Christian for his blessing on this, on moving the division on with interim title fights, and he was cool with it. He wanted to, he and I spoke, I don't know, a month or 2 months ago, and he wanted to take some time off. He just had another baby, Tommy, his baby Tommy, a little boy. And, his mind's just not right. He hasn't trained. He doesn't have a coach. He's just, his mind's not right to take a fight this year. So he asked if he could start being active again, call it January again onward. I said, yeah, that's cool with me.
Okay. I know we've gone over our time, so yeah.
No worries. I can do it for 15 more minutes. My next
okay
call is 15 minutes. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, John, do you have anything else you want to do? I'm sure there's plenty of stuff in the chat I can look here, but if you got any more, go ahead.
Of course, I'm curious on the status of Petrosian. The last time we spoke,
yeah. So Petrosian. So I spoke to Giorgio personally this time about a month or 2 months ago. Maybe it was 2 months ago, and he does want to have one more fight in March. So he's backed off his kind of retirement talk, and he said one more fight he wants to do in March of next year.
Okay, and what about Chingiz? You know what I mean? Like, seems like he's on the top of the list on the pound for pound list. You know what I mean? He's done phenomenal. His last performance was great. What's next for him?
I have not personally spent time thinking about it. I know my team has. Either they want him to cross over to Muay Thai, do a super fight with Tawanchai or something, or potentially face Petrosian. I don't know. A lot of names were being thrown around rather, and there's no doubt that Chingiz is the best pound for pound kickboxer in the world right now.
Could we get Petrosian versus Chingiz early next year? Is that a possibility?
It's a possibility, but I don't. I'd have to talk to Giorgio. I really don't know where. He has one. He said he wants to fight one more time. But I didn't get the sense it was. When a fighter really wants to fight, they're chomping at the bit. Like Anatoly, he's ready to fight tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then when you get the sense when the fighter's like, I want to do one more, with enough time, and it's a different state of mind. Giorgio has accomplished everything there is, right? He won the $1 million Grand Prix. He won the world title, in one. He's done it all, and I think he wants. I don't know, but this is my gut. Is that he wants one more fight to to call it a day on his terms. That's my kind of gut.
And Demetrius Johnson, he just recently competed in a jiu-jitsu. What was it? The IBJJFs, I believe so.
Yep.
He
Yep.
just competed, right? Did that worry you any? Possibly he could possibly get injured.
No. I knew he was going to win.
Okay.
And here's why. I'm a brown belt too, and he's a legit world class brown belt. I knew he was going to win because I looked at the bracket, and here's the thing that they don't tell you, about IBJJF. If you're fighting the black belt division in Masters, your chances are you're going to face a legend in the game, like someone who was a world champion at his or her peak, in the 20 when he or she was 20, and now she happened to be 35. Maybe a little slower, but still world championship material, right? In the brown belt division, it means you started jiu-jitsu later in life. That's what it means. There's no way you started as a kid competing as 5 years old, and then you're still at a brown belt 35. You get my point? There's just no. So they were legit killers, because I watched that video that DJ put out of all the. I mean, man, those brown belts were high level, legit. Actually, they were for all intents and purposes black belts. I mean, solid competitors, but they weren't world championship athletes like a DJ. DJ's next level, his movement, his mental strength, his fitness. I mean, I don't know if you saw some of his fights. He wasn't even breathing. I'm like, my goodness, the guy was going 100 miles an hour, straight fight after fight. He wasn't even breathing hard. I'm like, that's like impossible. He's next level fitness. And then I asked DJ afterwards, hey, what's your resting heart rate? He's like 42. To be 35 years old, 36 years old, and have a resting heart rate of 42. It's, he's the GOAT. But you know what I love about DJ? How many world champion legend GOATs like him would risk their reputations fighting Rotang in Muay Thai, risking literally getting knocked the hell out, right, by a world championship, and then go and compete in IBJJF Masters World Championship for the fun of it. Like, he could get injured, he could get embarrassed, but he's like, I'm a martial arts Chatri, I want to challenge myself. So DJ and I had a talk, and he's like, I just love competing and I love testing myself. And so if you look at DJ's body of work, and then you look at his accolades and his achievements, and then again you look from a pure skill set, how good is he on the ground, how good is he in striking, how good is he in wrestling, how good are his transitions. He is the GOAT. There's no question. He's the complete package. He has no holes in his game, and he won the two most difficult belts in the world, UFC and one, and he fought Rotang, and he won the IBJJF Masters. I mean, how many people have done that? Most people say in their safety zone, their comfort zone. So I have a lot of respect. What DJ did was amazing.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of respect for DJ, because a guy could have just came in and you didn't know nothing about him, and he would have went in there and possibly beat DJ. I mean, that's a big risk to take to most people.
For sure.
Nick, back to you, man.
All right, yeah, I got a couple more. All right, when are you going to give a contract to Yao Pui? We don't have many fighters from Hong Kong. I think just Alan Nalani. So if you could give her a contract. I think she's had 3 wins on one Friday fights. A lot of people were wondering why she wasn't signed last time. I know it was a decision, but
yeah, actually, from my memory, we were planning to give her a contract if she hit her customary knockout, but it ended up being kind of a sloppy fight, decision win, but it was very sloppy. It wasn't highly technical. Some fights she comes up very, very technical. Sometimes she's very sloppy, and that fight was very sloppy. We just didn't feel that we wanted to give the contract, but yeah, usually before every Friday, I'll ask my team, because I watch all Friday fights, and I'll ask my team, hey, is anybody up for a contract and why? And they'll give me the reason. And so she was up for the contract, and now she's gonna face, I forget who, man. She's facing somebody really tough, another tough striker. I can't remember who, but I think in the next few weeks we'll see her back in action, and if she performs again, then she'll be able to fight in the Big One Championship.
All right, and sticking with Friday fights, a few people are asking as well. I think recently there were a couple of judging controversies, or some people thought, the fights they would have given a different outcome. I know you take judging really seriously in one. Like personally, it's a real thing of pride for you. Like, did you have any queries about those fights? I think
no matter. So just so everyone understands, there is no favoritism to Thai fighters because our judges is international. We have 0 Thai judges. Judges we have from Australia, the UK, US, and we fly them in because we want to maintain the highest integrity for judging. And the judges, have the best of class experience. And literally, they're flown in from all over the world every Friday. And that was a big part of why we did that. Now, even if you have the most honest, most unbelievably competent judges, if a fight is close, you're going to get controversy. There's no promotion in the world that has a 100% accuracy rate of decisions. None. I mean, they can hire all the, and that's when we bring folks like Herb Dean in to make sure we have the very, very best judges and referees, right? But I'm proud to say in the 12 years that I've run one, and I don't know how many thousands of fights we've had, maybe there were like 5 times, a handful of times that I really, really felt strongly that the judges had it wrong. But beyond that, it's never. And one fight so far, maybe 1 or 2 fights, I would say, that was kind of like an iffy decision, but I kind of like, I see it. So I don't find any more big controversy. And again, if you saw the credentials of these judges and referees, it's just like Herb Dean. It's like Olivier Coste. These are the very best judges and referees from around the world that we fly in at our expense to make sure that fights are fair and clean and the athletes don't have to worry about anything except fighting.
All right, and a few people asking about Derrida. I think I saw he's got a fight booked. Is that right? A title defense?
I don't know. I do know that the team was offering or had been offering him Anatoly again. Okay. I don't know. I've not. Renier messaged me on WhatsApp and I replied. I'm supposed to talk to him, but we never connected yet. But I know that he's on the list. I think for the Middle East event, I saw his name. But again, I don't. I'd say 95% of the matchmaking is done by Matt Hume and Rick Audi and Timo Ruge and the rest of the competition team. Only the really, really big fights or the really, really big cards will I get, very involved in. If it's a very important event, like the Denver event was very important. So I was very hands-on in the entire card, making sure that we had record high TV ratings with Amazon and we trended #1 on Twitter and all that stuff. These are very important to make sure you get the card right, the storylines and all that stuff. But I just don't have the time. I for the most part, I run the company, I run the business, right? So I'm flying around the world doing media partnership deals like the Amazon deal or not, or meeting with governments, or meeting with investors, or meeting with brands, or sometimes meeting with athletes, depending, right? But usually, we have departments. It's a full run company with 10 offices around the world, organized by department, and I really trust my team. And so far, knock on wood, they've done a phenomenal job.
You got to go now. You the time up or what?
Yes, I have 4 minutes, but I have 4 minutes. All
right. Well, maybe you. Someone's asking about you guys you were interested in an IPO in New York. I think is that still something you're looking at?
We've always no plans have changed there. Obviously, we have a global slowdown happening as we speak, so the timing is 2 to 3 years. Let's see what happens. We always have my corporate development team and our group president always has they always have their eyes and ears on the ground in the capital markets around the world. That is a part of their responsibilities, and then they update me. Obviously, our board of directors as well. So let's see what happens. Yeah,
I think Iman Barlow's dad was in here asking about if she can have a fight, or a family member of Iman Barlow. Was she in the frame for the Smiller Sundell?
Again, I don't want to badmouth anybody. She turned down a fight for the September card against
Smilla. Yeah.
Smilla. She turned it down. And so it's just mind-boggling. You know, this is what I mean. Like, and that we have email trails, message, and that one I saw specifically because I had asked for that fight. I said, hey, man, Iman is a killer. She's done very well. Smilla's a champion. Smilla's having a hard time getting points. Let's get that fight on. So again, you see, like, but you know, athletes are talking nonstop, and we are. I don't know. I don't talk every day to the media. I don't every single fight. I'm like, oh my god, this happened, that happened. The backstory. There's a behind the scenes. You know, none of that gets out there. It's just somebody posts on social media. You know, I want to fight, and then everyone says, well, you haven't got to fight in 6 months, but meanwhile you've been turning down fights, right? Like, I wish athletes wouldn't do that, but I understand their position. You know, but I think it's not cool because. Or at least, you know, if you've been offered fights, say you've been offered fights and you've turned them down and you haven't fought in 6 months, and then you like fights. No issues, right? But then there are fighters legitimately that haven't fought because we haven't offered now. So that's legit, right? But surprisingly, those guys have not been the ones vocal about it, right? They've been professional and talking to the team about, hey, when can I fight and all that stuff.
All right, well, I got one more for you. But Anonymous sent another $5. Thank you, Anonymous. So I got to owe Chatri $10 now. But yeah, the scorecards. I definitely can get the scorecards out. You know, I think they send them on the email, Anonymous.
No,
to the media.
All scorecards are released after every fight.
Yeah, so they are out there, and if you need them, Anonymous, just message me. I usually put them on my Twitter. But I think loads of people. For final question, if you've got time. Just wanted to know if there was an update on Ong La. You know, I know he's out of contract. Have you had a breakthrough in negotiations with him?
I've not followed with my team. Obviously, I love Ong La as a person and as an athlete. I genuinely do. He's phenomenal. I've not personally been involved at all whatsoever, and it's not because I don't like him or I don't love him, whatever. It's I have a million priorities now that I don't deal with athlete stuff unless, you know, something major happens that the team is asking me. So I don't have any update on Ong La. And that was the last time I got an update I think was in Denver, was a few months ago. So I have not been part of those discussions. It's very rare possible that my team and Ong La are close to something. I just don't know. I've not been in the loop on that one.
All right. Well, we've had half an hour. We've done an hour, so and there's still so many questions. But guys, we got to let Chatri go. He's got some more stuff to do. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and it's always really insightful. And yeah, and I look forward to the next chat. Hopefully, see you next week in Bangkok.
Definitely, I'll be there, buddy. Take care, John. Take care, Nick. Appreciate your time.
See you next week.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye. All right, that was Chatri. I hope we asked questions you wanted to, everyone. Apart from some of the ones I just can't really ask.
No, it's just some of them are just dumb.
Yeah,
man. He answered everything. You know what I mean? He didn't veer away from anything really. So I don't know what you guys wanted us to ask him. We pretty much tried to cover everything.
Everyone wanted to do Chevello, but you know, I don't really want to ask about Chevello because look,
there's no reason to. There's no reason to because
it's not coming back. He's not coming back.
He's not coming back. So, and he's not a fighter, you know. But Chevello was great, but you know what I mean. Like he's moved on.
Yeah, I love Chevello. Yeah, I love Chevello. I think he's awesome. But I just don't think he's going to work with one championship. Maybe you can ask Chevello, you know. But I don't know. I'm sure Chatri would have given an answer, but it would have just been saying,
I wonder, you know, when Anonymous or no WMMA scene, he asked a question right about Soyur Kim, and Chatri responded by saying that she's a one fighter. I wonder what that meant, to be honest with you, because that could mean 100 different things. It could mean
maybe she's
still under contract.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't know. That's, you know, it's up in the air. But if she's still with one championship, great. If she's not, you know, great for her too. You know what I mean? I think she'll do good wherever she goes.
All right. Well, There was a lot to unpack
Digest.
there, and I don't really know where to begin. But we have another interview lined up for the show. We have Shannon Wiratchai is going to come in soon, so maybe we don't really unpack anything for now. But
Nah, we're packing still.
we're packing.
We're packing. But yeah, I like that he's talking about that they're gonna go to bigger. That's what it seemed like he was saying, is like they're gonna be going to bigger venues in Thailand. And we can talk to Shannon about that.
Here he is, Shannon Wiratchai, my man. How's it going, Shannon? Good to see you again. Can you hear us?
Shannon. Come on, man. Let's get the influencer light on.
Hello.
You're all set up now?
Yep, kinda. Yep, okay. Next to my laundry bag, but it's fine. I can move it away.
How is that? Oh yeah, I haven't done my laundry this week either.
Oh my god. I forgot when was the last time I did it.
Yeah, Fei Li did it, I think.
Yeah, you know, she just said that. Sure. She just said that. Like, oh.
Shannon, I got a question. Do you know how to use a washing machine?
Yes, I do. Okay. Like the on the top one and the front one, I'm good at it, actually.
Well, I got questions for you as well. Okay. What's going on? When are you? Any update for us? Because I know you've been trying to get a fight for a while now, since like February, I think it was. You last fought and you had a little injury, but I think you are now fully healthy. You've been cleared by a doctor, but you still haven't got a date booked, have you, for one championship?
It's actually, I don't know, I can't talk about this much, but actually, I kind of got a call to be ready to be on the same card with Thanh and Super League also, but like yeah, I think the focus is a little bit on Muay Thai and maybe no good spot for me yet. So that's why. So maybe let's see in the future.
When do you want to come back? As soon as possible. I know you got a wedding in December, so Fei Li, your wife and manager, doesn't want you to have loads of bruises on your face. I told her you just need to submit someone quickly, but she said you're a striker, so probably gonna
hopefully no injury before the wedding, right?
There's always makeup.
Yeah, that's right. The concealer, and she's good at it.
Well, yeah,
but been prepared, because after my last fight in February, I've been doing a lot of like a commentating job on Channel 7 also, right? And I feel like the past 6 months, like my body is kind of a little bit of like dropping down. So I feel like it will be better to keep myself prepared for any call for the fight. I think so. So now I'm back to full-time training, like real full-time, from like 90% full-time now, 100% full-time. That's feel good.
Yeah, I think you've stopped doing the commentary now, right? You're focusing fully on training.
That's right. So like commentating job is fun, but it's kind of drain your energy a bit too, right? Like, you know, got to be ready for the upcoming event, and come home late at night, Friday night, you just want fries afterward, you know, like on the way back, just order McDonald's home. And sometimes with the Amazon Prime event, it's going to be like in the morning. That's mean 5 a.m. I have to be awake. So it's like, you can't really just wind down right after the fight. You come home at 10, you can't really sleep until after midnight. And then like 5 a.m., up, go there again. And it's your Saturday like ruined. Like, you're dead. So it's better to back on training.
John and I don't go to the Friday fights when we're there for Prime Video, because we know we're going to be dead if we go. Yep. It's too much. We just watch it in the hotel room.
Think about the staff, man. All the staff, they're like,
yeah. It's painful. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. So when the event like go to Singapore or like Denver, they're all like, we are happy. We wake up late tomorrow. Good luck, bro. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah. I mean, you still got to wake up at 5 a.m., but you can get to bed by 10 or 11. So
Well, we can wake up at 5 a.m. The staff is probably waking up at like 3 a.m. or 1 a.m.
Yeah.
They're probably not even sleeping.
They should just leave at the stadium,
Yeah, for sure.
Why bother traveling?
Seriously, yeah. If they put some beds in Lumpini, I'd probably stay there on a Friday. But
They have bed and I think the sauna box. You won't like it.
Oh yeah.
You've been training at what is it, Super Bonds gym? I've seen that you've been out there a lot, right? Is that like the main place now for you?
Yeah, like for MMA and training at Bangkok Fight Lab, right? But when it's come to striking, I think the best part of training in Bangkok is to train with like all high level striker like Petano, Superbon, Nong O, and Trainer Gay, right? And yeah, I have chance to train with some guy that's gonna fight on the upcoming big event like Sigmund. I don't know you guys know this name. He just he will making debut on one Lumpini, but he's like a huge YouTuber, like million of followers. So got chance to spare him and like talk to him. He's like, wow, cool dude, You used to be Muay Thai fighter. You're doing so good on the social media. Then okay, I still want to fight. Now he's making debut in One Lumpini.
Oh, so you training with him, getting him ready?
Yeah, like I just help him a bit. It's like he fighting like a very, very good fighter. Like I forgot the name, but the guy is orthodox. So I'm southpaw. I can't really help him much, but with few things like like when he needs some like bodies, I can help him a bit. It's like that's fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And also
like
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it seems like you're getting in some like really, really good training over there, this super high level. And that's just like, the famous ones. There's like a lot of up and coming guys as well, right? That you can train with.
That's right.
Yeah,
and also try to be the one shy for Superbon, but come on, man, I can't be the one shy. too hard. Superbon be like, it's okay. Like if you guys know that I made my own MMA gloves, or I like made it like safer for all the MMA fighter, but turn out it's work for all the Muay Thai guy that start fighting in one that they need to use the small gloves. Like Superbon, he need to start like sparring in the small gloves. So turn out everybody doesn't want to spar him. So someone would be like, okay, Shannon, I want you. Uh-oh. Then I know my gloves is good because I'm not diet.
Yeah, tell us. I'll bring it up on screen. You can give it a plug. I think it's called Fighting Frenchie, right? And it's
yes,
specifically. I'll show it on screen now, but just tell everyone where they can get it and what it is.
Okay, so basically, like to be honest, it's like we just found a supplier that made MMA gloves for many good brands, right? And we found that we don't have this kind of glove in Thailand or in Asia. I think like a little bit thicker, like the pad is a little bit thicker, and also still you can still like grapple with it. So this glove is like 7 ounce, but the protection is just as good as an 8 ounce Muay Thai glove. So basically you wearing like smallest Muay Thai gloves in MMA training, but you can still grapple and you have your finger free. You still have your sensitivity on your hands, and it's help a lot. Like everybody love it. All the Muay Thai fighter love it. Like like because when this is the
some shorts
upcoming product.
Yeah.
So huge thanks to Alibaba. We love them now. Keep exploring.
Well, look, there you go. It's good enough for Superbon.
That's we can call that post-mortem photo.
Well, yeah, if you like training, go check this out. Fighting Frenchie. It's on Instagram and it's got a nice logo design of Shannon's dog, Kibu, who I got beef with. Last time I saw him, he bit me on my thigh. So
they were good until at one point, like the boy just freaked out, like that's Nick.
Yeah, I think I made the mistake of I stood up and then I kind of moved towards your like away from the living room, maybe towards the bedroom or something, and he just suddenly went crazy. And
maybe that's how he tried to hold you there. Just bite.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring my dog to Bangkok and set him on you. You know, we're
Oh,
gonna
so
make
cute. It's gonna be so cute.
No, that's all good. But yeah, check it out, everyone. But Shannon, we wanted to get your thoughts on this title fight in your division, right? The
Yep.
interim featherweight title, Thanh Lee and Ilya Freimanov.
Yep.
What do you reckon? Who's gonna get their hand raised? Who's the new interim champion on October 7th?
First of all, I'm quite surprised about Ilya Freimanov to get back to fights this quick. Like from his last fight with Shinetaka, right? I thought like his orbital like broken or something because like I think this part of his like a cheekbone just like swollen so bad. So I thought it might take like a year or something, but oh no, he's good. That's quite quick. That's good for him actually. But yeah, when you talk about the style, I just feel like if the fight is going in the cage, I would give it to Tanle more. But when it's in the ring, when Tanle is the kind of like a taekwondo guy who loves to moving around and he loves to throw a big shot from the outside. But when it's come to the ring, and I would say like I feel the current ring they use in one right now is a little bit smaller than before. So I don't know if it's gonna be a factor that make the game change also or not. Because when it comes to close range, I feel like Ilya is so good with the combination and grappling.
Are you going to be there, I guess, right? Because Superbond's on that card. You might get a close view up ringside and potentially maybe one day you're going to fight these guys. Is it frustrating for you to see these fights happen and you're on the sidelines? I know you want to get into that top 5 and you believe in yourself, but how frustrating is it?
Oh, I didn't. One more time, please.
How frustrating is it? Yeah, to not be fighting and seeing all these fights in your division.
Yeah, it's a little bit like kind of like seeing this guy being so active. It's like get your itching way to go back, but it's good to see how they do it too, right? Like to be honest, when I see like all these high level, like a top ranked fighters in action, sometimes it's kind of hard for you to be like, wow, they're so good. I don't know how I'm gonna be this guy. Like Tanli, I would confess, like Tanli is the kind of fighter I hate the most. Like the kind of like going in and out, using the range and like using better range than you and still having like hard shot. And then I would credit it to my friend Martin Nguyen. He's like, even he lost to Tanley, but I feel like 3 or 4, like I think 3 rounds they went together. Martin kind of exposed him a lot. Like after first round of having a little bit of hard time, then Martin started to like kind of cut him down, cut the ring, walk him down, and throw more body shot. Even he get knocked out at the end, but I still feel like that was a good fight that kind of exposed Tanli a lot, and maybe that's maybe something that Tang Kai learned from on their fight, and this might be something that's gonna change the game because, like I say, like once time they get walk it down, he can't use the cage or the big ring. He need to be in the smaller ring. So this might give Ilya Freimanov more chance to throw his combination or his shots.
Well, you never know. Maybe if you stay ready, someone gets injured, they may look for someone to come in. I know you were
like last
your
time,
name was
right?
your name was in the mix. I think when Gary Tonin fought right in February or January, was it? January, yeah.
January,
against Johnny Nunes. Johnny was having some issues getting to Bangkok, I think, and then they were worried they may have to find someone. Yeah, stranger things have happened, right?
Yeah. For the notice, so I was like, oh, should I? Then okay, he's here, fine.
Yeah, Johnny safely made it, and then got soundly beaten by Gary. But what about that fight? Gary. Sounds like Gary doesn't have an opponent. Would you take that fight? Gary just Shannon's gone.
You okay?
Sorry, you back.
Okay.
Yeah, Gary Tonin, is that someone you'd still like to maybe fight? Because like you said, it was close to happening.
Yeah, because from I think from that fight, I feel like anybody that kind of using wrestling or ground technique will just fall to Gary quite easily, right? Like even on Gary's last fight with Shamil, feel like once he tried to just push Gary to the rope to the corner, then he just give his leg or his limb to Gary. But when it's come to somebody that okay, I'm not gonna cuddle you, I gotta get away from you, then it's kind of become a harder time for Gary. But yeah, I'm also curious why. I thought Gary kind of get back on the top rank already, but then turned out it's Tadley and Ilya Freimanov for the interim title shot. Like where's Gary now?
Yeah, I think Chatri was just saying earlier that Gary was offered a fight, and he turned it down because he wanted to have a break, I think, or have a proper camp. So Martin, I think it wasn't Martin Nguyen, I think I know that, but Martin has someone else. I think Martin's coming back in November, maybe.
Oh,
but yeah, but still plenty of options for you. John Flower thinks that Gary's a terrible stylistic matchup for you, Shannon. What do you say to that?
actually, it is. I like to be honest with a proper camp. I feel like I got some chance, but it will be terrible. Like nowhere I will go down with Gary. That's like that's nightmare.
Yeah, a nightmare indeed.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, John, do you have anything else for Shannon, or we're gonna wrap this show up because we've got about 5 minutes left, I think.
Of course, Shannon. Man, what was it like fighting in Lumpini though? You know what I mean, for yourself. I know people probably asked you this before, but you know what I mean. Like now that you look back at it, you commentate like.
Okay, looks like John is stuff.
What is it?
John's frozen.
Oh, yeah.
I'm frozen. Can you hear me?
Oh, you're back now. Just
okay.
repeat the question. Yeah.
Yeah. You've commentated like so many Friday fight shows, right? On Channel 7, and those shows are #1 every week. So
that's
like
right.
when you go outside, like do people recognize you a little bit more because you're on Channel 7?
Much more actually. Actually, I felt it since my fight at Lumpini. Like they say, like if once you go on Channel 7, people kind of see you because Channel 7 is like I think the biggest TV channel in Thailand. Like, people are all over the country watching. Like like after that fight, the week after, I went to Channel 7 for the commentate. Everybody just like, oh, hi. Okay, this way. Like, oh, you guys know me? Okay, fine, that's cool. And I realized it even more when like turned out somehow my TikTok in Thailand is going quite well. Like like kind of like a fight tutorial or something like that, and people start to know me more. Like, oh, are you that guy? Like with a mustache and beard? Like, are you that guy? You look like Channel. You look like that guy. Like, yeah, I'm just saying that, but it's getting much easier. When you're making kind of like a tutorial video, they always like the doubter. They always like, oh, I don't think this is smart. I don't think this is right. I don't think this is blah blah blah. But when people start to, okay, this guy commented, this guy fighting, why you try to say something smart, like you try to say that he's wrong or not, and then everybody like, okay, fine, we listen to you now. It's quite a good credibility, and also you get your face on TV. It's like quite fun. And if you remember, like when One Lumini started, like the MMA fight used to be maybe like the fourth fight, the fifth fight before the sixth fight. The sixth fight is the main event for the international fight card, right? But looks like after 2 or 3 months, the MMA fights start to move to the first and the second instead. Maybe the rating or the audience in Thailand are mostly Muay Thai audience. That's why they try to push MMA to the beginning of the event, and then more Muay Thai on Channel 7, like around 8:30. Then we go live on Channel 7. So my job on TV, actually, I can just commentate 2 MMA fight and go home. So that's mean like, okay, maybe I go there like 7:30, then 8:30 or 8:15. I'm on the way home ordering McDonald's or KFC or Burger King. and then it's turned out like other commentators like next to me, they start to be like, no, let's just stay until the sixth fight. We want you to go on Channel 7. So that's kind of nice of them to keep me on there, and I kind of learn more about Muay Thai, about how to commentate Muay Thai fight or kickboxing fight, know more about many things, and also get my face on Channel 7. And people are like, oh wow, that guy. Like,
You gotta be careful, Shannon, when you're out there. People are watching you. They're watching you. They're gonna put you on TikTok.
That's why I keep my concept like funny and still be like, oh, that's fine, yeah. Not be the tough guy out there, Not TikTok.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Nobody talk to you about like, no, the way you throw the punch is not right. They're always like, nobody use punch outside. They're using like something else. Like, come on, man. We talking about boxing, MMA, Muay Thai. Not like,
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see that you're getting the recognition. You know what I mean? Even with the commentating, because I think like you're still in the middle of your fighting career, so it's like moving forward, fighting in Thailand. You know what I mean? Like if you actually step into Lumpini, people that watch, they'd be like, "Oh, that's the guy that commentated."
That's
all
right.
the shows, and now he's fighting again.
That's right.
It draws more interest, I think.
Yeah. Oh, but one thing I realized from doing the commentating job is I feel like to have my face on TV like that or something like that. It's like it's good for you for your further business opportunity. Like you're making this brand, you're making this, that, not your face is on there. It's easy for you to do many more things. But that's what made me realize too. Like, okay, what is my main business right now? Like, if I want to keep my my business more like around fighting, like world fighting or like competition or something like this, I can do much more, like sell my gloves or do whatever, keep on go on TV and like my glove is the best, use it, someone use it too, guys, something like that. But I feel like my main business right now is to fight, I think. So yeah, so I think till the wheel fall off and then we get back on it again.
Definitely. Well, when you gonna be coming down to Phuket anytime soon, or are you just gonna be in Bangkok?
Like for now, maybe Bangkok, because like Superball is fighting on October, so I feel like it's a good chance to be there and become his walking heavy bag. It's good to learn from him. He's such a good teacher, man. Like, come on, he may be the smartest teacher in Muay Thai like I ever talked to. Like smart guy. Too straightforward sometimes. Right now, he's a villain of. If you don't know, yes, Tawanchai Superball is more like the villain. And Tawanchai is a hero, because Superball he always straightforward and talk about, yeah, I saw the weak point. I know what to do. I think I can beat him. Just straightforward like that. And people like, you talk too much. Hey, we hate you now. And turn out Tawanchai is more like, oh look here, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, people love him. So now I think like the scene in Thailand turned into this way, but no, they both are great people, and like for me to have a chance to train with him and like hang out with him like closely, like wow, this guy's so straightforward but super smart.
Do you think he could get the knockout? Head kick?
I can't say it. Like in Muay Thai community, they kind of know how to defend, and like they kind of used to this thing. They kind of used to this thing. But Superball is a little bit like a different. He's kind of like he came from like a strict Muay Thai background, but then he went on the Thai national team for the amateur Muay Thai. Like it's called amateur Muay Thai, but all of the fighters they're just not amateur. But I think that built him for the kickboxing career. Like he know how to score, he know how to throw all the shot and score well. That's why in Muay Thai they always say that Subot is the kind of like too annoyed to fight, too many stuff, this all the time, and yeah, and he's not the kind of like a big puncher or big kicker. Like he's more like the all about the accuracy. Even like I asked him like how to kick. Like I don't want to when I train with him that he want me to kick him more like the one shot. Like come on man, I can't. I feel like if I kick too much, I will get gas because I'm more like a puncher. I don't like to kick too much. Then he taught me how to kick. And if you go to the Muay Thai school, they always talk about like don't kick like Taekwondo, don't kick like karate, kick like Muay Thai, like this. You talk to Superbond. Oh, me and Sanchai kick the same way. We kick like karate. Like okay, this is like
Yeah,
different.
you're right. Yeah, it's just cool that they like mix up the martial arts together. Nick,
That's right.
who you got? Taiwan Chai, Superbond. Who's gonna win, Nick? Put you in the spot.
I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't know enough about Muay Thai or kickboxing to really give an educated response, but I'm going to try and give one. I think Superbond's going to win because Superbond's losses all seem to happen from punches, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think Taiwan Chai's, we know that's not his game. So if Superbond can, he's not going to worry about the punches, right? I mean, the kicks are what Taiwan Chai does, and he breaks your bones with them. That's the problem. But I just think Superbond's gonna do it. I don't think many people are giving him a chance, but I feel like it could happen. I feel like it. I don't know. I've got my mind thinks there's an upset. You know, I think so.
Superbond is bigger than Taiwan Chai, right? We've met them we've all seen them in person. What is your thoughts? Is Superbond bigger?
I thought Superbond is bigger, but looks like the one Chai kind of grow up. So yeah, if you ask me about who I got, I would say last year I would say Superbond easy job, but right now it's like the one Chai. How come you get like taller? Like I feel like maybe 3, 4 years ago, 3, 4 years ago, I took a photo with the one Chai. He's like this high, but right now he 180 or something. Like come on, like what happened to you, bro? But yeah, every talk about. With like back couple years ago, he wasn't fully grown up in his weight class, but right now he's like super like he's fully grown right now. So that might be a little bit of like a problem for Superbond too. Like now, like a technique wise, like skill wise, and also the physical wise, the one Chai like is growing up a lot more, and also small globes. Like Superbond, yeah, actually he's kind of worried about the small globes too. And turn out like I gave him the gloves. He tried with Petronol. Nobody want to punch. They all do the kick in sparring and like you don't want to punch each other in the face. That's why Superbond like okay, can I use you? Like okay, fine. And but looks like now he kind of figured it out already, like how to use the small globes, like. Yeah, like the way the one Chai punch is kind of a little bit different. Like somebody start to post an old video of the one Chai doing a major boxing because I think he's compete for the army or something. I'm not sure, but he's competing in the major boxing and he's looking good. So like Superbond been working a lot on like feeling how to catch all those punch in small globes. Like for the like he's not gonna try to catch the one Chai punch, but in the worst case, if he need to catch it like at the last line of defense, yeah, he's been working on that and looks like he kind of figured it out already. So that should be good.
All right. Well, John Flower had Superbond purely on aggressive punching. Yeah, it's a good fight. We didn't really get to ask Chatri about it because there's so much other stuff we were talking about. And I guess there's bigger shows coming up first. We got Rodtang Superlek next week. Then we got Singapore One Fight Night 14 before we even get there. So it's good to chat to Shannon about it, though. And yeah, we're going to wrap up, though, here. We've done an hour and 45 minutes coming up, and I haven't had dinner. I'm so hungry. I got to go eat.
That's too late, man.
Yeah. But Shannon, the floor is yours. Any final remarks? Yeah, when are we going to see you back in the circle, in the ring, wherever?
Same question. Itching now. No, I need money. No. I've been training for so long. Now, like, been prepared and like put 100% back on training. When you train, you want to see the result. That's what we live for.
Okay, well, hopefully we get to see those results soon.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll catch up with you next week in Bangkok.
Yep.
For the show. Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Shannon. Yeah, we'll speak in a few days. Yeah, it's coming up quick, isn't it? Damn.
Yeah. Speak, going eat. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's all go and eat. And
McDonald's,
yeah.
KFC.
I could do a
Short
McDonald's.
list, short list.
I love McDonald's fries. What?
Yeah, I could have a
Korean food. What?
He's about
Korean.
to. Shannon's about to
Say
order
something about
McDonald's right
Korean food.
now.
What you want?
Food tonight.
Oh, why? I just ate Korean food before I hop in. Like, why? What's the point?
John, we found a good restaurant in Bangkok.
Okay, so Fairly want me to tell you, John, that I found a good Korean restaurant in Bangkok. So that's it.
All right, we will go. We will go and I'll.
Well, I don't know.
tell you.
They have like a seat or just like takeaway. Yeah, I think order only, but it's like I think like a quite traditional Korean kind of like a bento or something. I forgot how you call it.
All right.
Yeah,
We'll
good
have to
one.
go check it out. We'll
Yeah.
definitely go check it out.
Yeah, all this talk is making me even more hungry. So I gotta get out of here.
No, I gotta
we're
get
gonna
the
end
snack here.
Yeah, we're gonna end the stream here. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, John. Thanks to Chatri, who was here earlier for an hour. If you missed it, rewind.
Thank you,
check it all
Chatri.
out. Yep,
I missed you.
yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll who knows? Yeah, but One Friday Fights 34 Rodtag Super Lec. We are nearly 1 week out. It's I can't wait. It's going to be huge. We'll see you all there. Thanks everyone for watching, commenting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate it. Even Kent, we appreciate Kent, even though he doesn't appreciate us. Right.
We are
see you
one.
all. We are one. Yes.